With me in studio, PS MSME's Susan Mangeni for more on Nyota and what the young people of this country can expect. PS, at least 800,000 applicants turned up yesterday and for the better part of today after the extension for the verification exercise. Let's put this into context in terms of how the beneficiaries will be selected and what specific criteria determines who qualifies.
Okay, thank you. But before that, allow me to make a few corrections in this story. So the fund, the total amount is 20 billion and not 5 billion. 5 billion is only for the business support and only for the grant component in the business support. So the total amount, like I've said, is 20 billion to support all the three components that the reporter has spoken to. The amount which is going to go to the young people to support the startup is the 5 billion. So we have 15 billion, which is also supporting other interventional areas like what he has talked about, the recognition of prior learning, and then as well as the on-job experience and the training of 600 young entrepreneurs on AGPO and EGP, just to expand the market access.
Right, so the 5 billion goes into what specifically? Just a clarification.
The 5 billion is what we are granting young people, right, especially those who have applied or who have expressed interest to do business. And it's targeting to support 100,000 youth across the country in each and every ward, a minimum of 70 per ward, and each one of them, after going through the training, will receive a grant of 50,000.
Right.
Kenyan shilling 50,000. So I just wanted to make that correction so that it is not, it will be misleading to the public if you say 5 billion is for the entire project. So indeed, maybe a little bit of a background on the Nyota project. First of all, this is not a new initiative. I see many people saying Nyota Fund. It's not actually a fund. It is an initiative, an intervention that creates two pathways to job creation, and which is targeting young people who are most vulnerable and most marginalized at the bottom of the economic pyramid, between the age of 18 to 29, like he has said, and up to 35 for persons with disability. And of course, it provides equal opportunities to both men and women, or male and female youth, at the ratio of 50-50. So right, that's what we want to achieve, as well as we have 5% target of benefiting persons with disabilities. And then also we're also looking into other vulnerable young people, especially in the gazetted refugee camps of Dadaab in Garissa and Kakuma in Turkana counties. But now, what are those two pathways that he's spoken to? The first one is enhancing the young people employability. We want to enhance their skills so that they can become more, they can increase their chances of being employed or right, competing for jobs in the market. That is recognition of prior learning for those young people who have existing skills. And especially in high growth sectors, which they might have acquired informally without going through the formal education system, we give them an opportunity to be satisfied by identifying their skills, and assessing those skills, and then later on we give them certification. I want
to just stop you there, PS. Like you said, this initiative isn't completely new, and we do know that it evolved from earlier youth funding programs run by the Ministry of Youth Affairs under the previous administration. So when we talk about those earlier programs, which we actually know were dispersed in 17 counties, did those funds actually achieve meaningful outcomes? Because once again, we're going into the fact that this is not new. We've heard of this, similar initiatives before. That is the Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project and the Future Bora Initiative.
So the Kenya Youth Employment Opportunities, the KYO project, which ran for 5 years between 2018 to up to 2022, it targeted 17 counties it had the similar models, of course, a recognition of prior learning on job experience, as well as business support. The only difference is that it only targeted 17 counties, and it's because of the successful outcome of that project that then the bank also thought it wise now to scale it up to every corner of this country. So when people say it is a fund, it's not a new initiative. It's an initiative that has already demonstrated its success, and that's why now we are scaling it up so that we can also get to benefit as many young people as we can. Again, it was still targeting young people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. I mean those who have not advanced beyond the Form 4 level of education. So it's there. But Lilian, it's good also to talk about what is our expectation in terms of expanding employability of young people, which is the second pathway, and which you're doing through entrepreneurship. Our expectation is that and what makes this difference? Because I've seen many people saying, what makes this difference? We've had other initiatives. What makes this initiative very different? And I want to correct the notion outside there. The young people who are turning up for this particular component of business support, I do not think that they're turning up because they just want to get 50,000 shillings. This is a very comprehensive business development support program, and it has got classroom training as well as mentorship, because 50,000 is just to launch you, your business idea into the larger pipeline of that ecosystem which you need to thrive in. You need still to access markets. You need skills on how you can access market, skills on how you can also, and you need to build up capacity like what that young man has said. If he can get this 50,000, he will expand his business and he'll be building up his capitalization. And with the time now, he can even acquire now the capabilities and the networks that will enable him now to be served in the by the commercial banks to expand his business. So we believe that because of the high unemployment that we are experiencing in this country, all the young people require is just economic engagement. And that's why you saw them turning out, and they are very calm. They are looking for an opportunity, just not because money. I know many people are talking about 50,000. It's not just about that money. They want to be launched into a pipeline where they can now nurture their business ideas.
Right, and talking about, you talked about how different this is, but, people have been drawing comparisons between this and the Hustler Fund PS, which faced criticism, we know, for delays, for mismanagement, and limited impact, to be quite honest. And so the question is, what safeguards are in place to ensure that this particular project avoids similar problems?
These are two totally different initiatives. Hustler Fund is different by all definition from this program. This program is business-oriented, especially this particular component is business-oriented. And we appreciate that it's not just about funding that you need to do business. You also need capacity building. So we've really come out strongly on business development. And that's why we have onboarded experts in business development who will be across the country and holding these young people throughout. So even after the 5 day or the 4 days that they will be in a classroom training, from there they'll have a period of about 4 months of close mentorship. They will be handheld. They'll be linked up to other experienced business people who will also show them how to go about their business, because you see, it's just a journey. And you know very well that outside there, the experts tells us that out of every 5 businesses that starts off, only about a third of them gets to go beyond, to survive beyond their first or their second birthday. So having underscored that, we decided to design this program. It's a business-focused program. So it is not like, and I've seen many people confusing now with the Hustler Fund. Hustler Fund intention is totally different, and I don't quite agree when you say mismanagement, because I really do not know. I'm the one managing it, so I really do not know how we are talking.
Okay, so you're the one who's going to be overseeing the disbursement of the funds, and because the question is who will manage. If it it indeed is different from Hustler and the challenges we saw there. Please allow me to finish. Who will manage and oversee these funds? Because we are waiting for 50,000 to be awarded to each of the persons that qualify. But in terms of overseeing the Nyota funds, is there a dedicated body responsible for accountability and transparency?
So first of all, look at the process from the onset application. It was digital because we wanted to give every young Kenyan within that description, the age description, and the criteria that we're looking at, a chance, a fair chance to benefit from this opportunity. And like I've said, I think we are getting it wrong when we try to compare this intervention with other funds. Some people have said, oh, is it money that they are borrowing? No, this is a grant. And you're only being given this grant, first of all, after you have expressed your business intent. So these young people went, remember I talked about the 3 tracks that which are in this project that are geared towards empowering young people. So that those ones who chose RPL, they say have existing skills. For me, I just want my skills to be certified so that I can get certificate, this certificate, I can get a job. That those ones who say I'm interested in this particular industry, I need to be attached to the industry or to a company or to a farm where I can now continue acquiring knowledge and experience by just working, being attached. There are those ones who are handling them. Those ones who have come out, especially like those ones who were turning out yesterday for business support, and I said, for us, we are interested in doing business. First of all, you express, you say you are interested in doing business, and then we subject you through an entrepreneurial aptitude test, also to get to understand and to measure your business mindset and the level, to inform us on the level of engagement and even the kind of business curriculum that we need to develop to support you fully. And then also, remember, we are touching you and you're being supported by experts in business development who are spread out across the country. And we've tried as much as possible to take this project to the grassroots, to the world level, so that even during the training, you start appreciating opportunities that exist around you. Yeah. So now when you talk about management, we have a young person, assuming her name is Lillian. Yeah. She has applied, she has been trained, gone through classroom training. After that, she has been assessed. Then the money is disbursed to account. Then you want us again to go and sit down with Lillian and say, Lillian, this is how, because you would already have come up with your own business plan. This is how you want to invest your money. So money...
Yes, and that is in order. You know, the question really is about the money and whether it will go into the intended use, because a lot of these young people have a skill, like you said, or will be involved in business development. But in terms of accountability, this being a World Bank grant, you say it's not a loan, it's a grant. So ultimately, who carries then the responsibility in terms of accountability? What accountability measures have been put in place for the Kenyan government as regards the rightful use of these funds? And indeed, if it's about youth empowerment in terms of business, in terms of entrepreneurship, savings, like you say, the accountability measures, and that's why we go back into the money, the disbursement of the money, and ensuring that it goes into the right purpose.
Well, so I am really struggling to understand the accountability points which you're asking about. Is it the accountability in terms of how young people are going to use this money, or is it the accountability on the part of us disbursing the money to these young people? If that's what you're asking for.
It is a sum up of all of that.
Okay, yes, so let me begin by us making sure that this money goes to the intended young people or that cohort. The yesterday's exercise which we had, the physical verification, in itself was to help us to confirm that indeed the young people who are applying through the digital platform, they exist.
Right.
Because at times I saw people coming to my inbox and saying, these figures you're talking about, how about if it's AI? How about, and they say, no, we're going to have this physical verification. You can also, the public can also turn up. And indeed, we had members of public who turned up to see, and indeed they were there. They existed there. Secondly, these people, the selection process is very transparent. We have already laid out the criteria. You must be 18, those in terms of the age that is required, in terms of the education level that you're looking at, and indeed even for the people who turned up yesterday. There we had stakeholders were there, we had members of public were there, we had the national government administration officers were there, we had the project team, we had the local leaders and their representative were there to witness this process. So these young people exist, and because you're drawing them from each and every ward, it will be very easy. They were there in person. Yeah. So when we start training, the training are also going to happen. The trainings will happen at the constituency level. Again, we are going to invite the members of public during training to come and witness that indeed these people who are being trained in those classrooms, they come from those areas. And then secondly, after that, it is their phone. The same telephone numbers that they receive the text from, informing them about the meeting yesterday and what they needed to do, the same phones that they've been using to do the entrepreneurship aptitude test. Remember, those were 19 questions, and they were able to do, will be the same medium of communication to them. So they themselves have. So in terms of accountability ensuring, we've made sure that we've reached out. Those young people applying on their own accord. Nobody brought a list and say, put it in this system. And because they were there yesterday and people saw them, when it comes now to train, that they will be seen. When it comes to disbursement, again, we are going to disburse in public.
To that as we start to close.
In public.
The big question is the money question. When do they expect, when will the final list be made public? When do they expect the money? Will it be given in installments? Will the 50,000 be given in full?
So the way we have designed the program, and because this is a process, because we are creating entrepreneurs, so we take them through a process of mentorship. So the first batch of disbursement will be 25,000, of course, minus 12%, after which they will be observed by those experts for a period of between 1 month to 2 months. They will be followed up. We have those trainers at the local level who will be catching up with them to see how their businesses, they are coming up. And then after that, they will give us the report. And based on those reports, again, they will receive the second disbursement. And the disbursement, I want to say this, it will all be done in public. The young people will be brought at a central place in each and every cluster, and then the disbursement will go, they'll receive money on their phone, so they'll be able to tell, I have received my first installment on my phone, waiting for the second installment. But the beauty with this project, by the way, Lillian, that people need to understand, it is not just about the money, but it's about the skills, it's about the exposure, it's about the networking that
so
these young people
The 20 billion you
get.
talked about was a grant. The money, the 50,000 that will be given to the young people who qualify, is this a loan for them? Will they be required to repay?
No, they're not repaying, and that's what a grant.
The grant, yes, was the World Bank money that was given.
So no, the World Bank money,
yes.
50% of the 20 billion, which is 10 billion, is the grant portion. Then, of course, the remaining 10 billion, so 10 billion, half of it is grant, half of it is the concessional loan that we've gotten. So now, the 50,000 that we are granting these young people as a seed capital, this is part of the grant from the World Bank. But again, they are not going to repay. It is the money to support them. And that's why we are building around them a supportive ecosystem to follow up on their business ideas to a level where they pick up and they start moving. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
It is a developing story that we will stay with. But I must ask for the thousands who might not make it, more than 800,000, and this is the final question as we close, we're completely out of time. More than 800,000 applicants stand up for the verification exercise, PS, and, you know, the target is about 105,000. So what happens to the other hundreds of thousands that have to go away with, with nothing? Obviously, there's a serious unemployment crisis in this country. A lot of young people actually came out in numbers, like you told me, to secure an opportunity to get this 50,000.
Yeah, so Lillian, number one, now we have established that visibility of that level of need among our young people, that segment of the youth we have in this country. We have that database. And we appreciate the fact that majority of young people in that particular segment have come out and have already demonstrated the interest of doing business. I preside over an ecosystem that grows and supports small businesses. We have those existing initiatives that you've been mentioning, for example, the Hustler Fund, the Bridge Loan, which is now business-oriented. We're talking about Youth Enterprise Fund, we're talking about Women Enterprise Fund, we're talking about Kenya Industrial Estate, and many other initiatives that you're coming up with targeting young people. What Nyota has done, we are now we have embraced a targeted approach. We don't want to deal with young people as if they're homogeneous. We underscore that they reside in different contexts, their needs are different, their capacity also varies, so we need to start targeting them with very specific initiatives. So what will happen to the overflows? We have their back. We are going to organize them around other existing opportunities. And I want to assure the young people outside there that they should not worry, because none of them will be left behind. Each one of them will get an opportunity to enter into a MSME, a supportive ecosystem, because the beauty is that they themselves have come out and they've said they want to do business. We also have like Uwezo Fund, if you know. We will organize and redeploy the resources which are existing to ensure that we support them.
And PS, we thank you so much for your time. We've been speaking to Susan Mangeni, Principal Secretary for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, for insights on the Nyota Fund. We'll be back with more in just a bit. Stay with Citizen Weekend.